For example, in this case, when you write abstracts, the abstract comprised of 4 parts: the part of objective, the part of methodology, the part of result, and the part of conclusion and recommendation. In this case, the objective is to examine or study the relationship between the website quality, university image, electronic word of mouth, and intention to follow. When the researcher write in abstract for methodology, it's good if you explain what the method to collect the quantitative data. In this case, use the adopt online questionnaire for 215 respondents. Through which sampling technique, in this case, use the convenience sampling. And the methodology should be included for the statistic analysis. For example, you use for SPSS to analyze of the quantitative data for the descriptive analysis, and you use for inferential statistics of PLS SEM program or Adengo to test the hypothesis. And the result, when you write the result, you have to write to support or reject of your hypothesis in the conceptual framework. In this case, the website quality significant impact of the university image and turn it to the intention to follow the university website. It means that university image could be considered as the mediator in this case. And university image significant influence of the electronic word of mouth and turn it into intention to follow the university website. It means that electronic word of mouth could be considered as the mediator. It depends on the researcher would like to test the hypothesis or not. If yes, you have to add the hypothesis for the mediating effect of the mediator. And the researcher should include for the implication, because the implication could explain the relationship and could be useful not for only your sector, but different sector. You can the researcher could be adopt the new finding or the new conclusion to study in the further study. And for the recommendation is to useful for further study. In this case, use the quantitative analysis. It means that the data could not explain in inside result. Therefore, the qualitative research, interviews, focus group, or their fight technique, or anything about the qualitative research could be considered for further study. For the keywords, the researcher should include at least 5 keywords in the article. The keywords usually used for the variable, used for the theories that you would like to study, and or sector that you would like to study, or study setting. In the introduction part comprise of 2 parts: the background of the study and the problem statement. The background of the study is the explain. You start from the explain of the problem in the sector or industry. After that, you explain or describe for the relationship or the importance of the outcome, and followed by the importance of the predictor that you choose to explain the outcome variable. But different from the problem statement. The problem statement is about the gap of the research. For example, uh, you would like to study about the qualitative data or interviews. It means that the topic about the topic you choose have less of the qualitative study. Is the gap that you choose to study about the qualitative research. Opposite to the quantitative research. If you write for the problem statement of the quantitative research, you have to explain in the relationship between the variables in your quantity. In this case, the explanation of the intention to follow the university website in Thailand is the rare study. Is the decision to choose to study a quantitative of the variable to explain or to describe the intention to follow the university website in Thailand. And when you write the research question, the research question for the quantitative research, you could write how is the relationship between variables, or you can write, oh, is there any relationship between the variables, but you have to add and how, because if you write only is there any relationship, the answer is only yes or no, but the researcher could find the answer for how the hypothesis support the conceptual framework or reject of the hypothesis. It's good if you add for how, because support for the positive effect, support for a negative effect is depend on the variable that include in your conceptual framework. And when the researcher write for the literature review, it's good to start from the definition of the variable, because the definition of the variable could be useful for the reader know what is the important, what is the essential of the variable that you would like that the researcher would like to study. After that, you write for the relationship between the variable. Again, for the good research question, the good research question is important and relevant to the topic that the researcher would like to study, and feasible, because if you write the research question is impossible, and how you can find the answer, because if you write for the many factors in very short time duration, for sure the researcher could do the quantitative study or qualitative study in the short term of the cross-sectional study. And the good research question should be clear and new and original, and could find the answer. When you write a literature review that I mentioned before, you start with the definition and you explain in the sector, you explain in the industry. In this case, it's about the university image. You could not explain for corporate image. You have to explain only the university image and explain the relationship between the predictor and the outcome. For example, for the third hypothesis, the third hypothesis adopt for the university image significantly influence individuals' intentions to follow the university website. It means that the university image is considered as the predictors of the intention to follow the university website is the outcome variable. And when you write off the variable, you start from the definition, you follow by the importance of the variable, you write the relationship between the variable of the independent or predictor, and to predict the outcome of intention to follow the university website. And this is the example of the conceptual framework. As I mentioned, the conceptual framework could find for the qualitative and quantitative research, but not includes for the hypothesis in the case of qualitative study. Because the hypothesis, for summary of the hypothesis, the researcher have to summarize for the supported, accepted, or rejected at the significant value. The significant value is essential or important only for the quantitative, not qualitative. Therefore, it means that you could not use the hypothesis for qualitative research. And when you write in the research method, the research method you use what the researcher use. In this case, use the course and questionnaire, because the course and questionnaire, the respondent could be answered for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you use 5 for strongly agree and 1 for strongly disagree. It's good or better if the researcher explain what is about the reliability and validity in the you use for in your study. And when you write the research method, it means that how the researcher create the instrument or questionnaire. You could not create the questionnaire without the literature review or review the previous study. Because if you create the research, the questionnaire without the previous study, the quality of the research is have the problem, because you write the question, you write the questionnaire not based on the previous study. And I suggest to use or adopt the research or adapt of the research question from the previous study, a new study for 5 years, not more than 5 to 10 years. And the preparation is very important, because you have to explain what is your preparation, the definite or indefinite preparation, because it's essential to find the number of preparation or the sample determination. If you use the definite population, you have to use the formula for calculation of the sample by definite population. Contrastly, if you use the indefinite population, you have to use the sample size determination formula for the indefinite population. It's not the same. And